Hello everybody and welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video. This is Dragothian here and I have got a new video today for you about how to access the Commander View Guide, which I don't really think I've seen out there, and I've had a lot of questions about where to find it. But then also I want to go through each one of the slots inside of the Commander View Guide, give you guys best in slot for some of these things, and really help you understand how to use your current commander setup and maximize them, because really once you get down to it, this is just that little extra edge, right? That if you've got two alliances that are maxed out in buffs and going against each other, this may give you the little bit of a difference that you need to win the fight and then ultimately win the war. So this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to go through each one of the slots and just kind of quickly talk through what each one of them mean to me, and then hopefully that will help you make your decision on who you want to put in each one of these titles, or whatever you want to call them. There's 7 of them right now. It looks like there's probably going to be room for more. So looking forward to more slots in here for that too. But let's talk through the ones that we've got and we'll go through it. So first off, how do we get there? I've had that question probably about 15 times just this last week. So I want to put a video out there and show you how. If you go to the top left on your profile, you hit the avatar, and then that brings up your main menu, your governor profile. The commander button, third from the left, it used to not do anything. If you tap it now, it brings up your commander view. Pretty sweet. And again, you got 7 titles here to choose from, and you can't have the same commander in more than one slot. I think that's pretty much the only rule. Each slot has to have a unique commander. You can't have, for instance, Richard in both the troop health and the troop defense and health together. You can't have them in the same spot. You have to either one or the other, okay? So let's go through each one. I'm going to start with the gathering ones just to quickly go through them. I think they're pretty self-explanatory, but I will go through it just because I'm a thorough guy. So Ranger, damage to barbarians and commander XP gain 5% increase. That leans almost exclusively to Lohar in my opinion. The other thought process here is that you can use this slot for your fort ralliers. So when you're doing barbarian forts with Minamoto and Double C, or Minamoto and Genghis, or whoever your pairing is, you can put one of those commanders in this slot, and that will give you a 5% damage bonus on that barbarian fort. You would lose the benefit of the XP gain because forts only give you experience through the books that you get, but still pretty quality use. And you can switch it out whenever you want. So if you're going to be doing forts for an hour or so, you can remove your Lohar and put in Minamoto or whoever your pairing is for your fort rallies. Again, if you're not doing that, if you're the one joining the rallies mostly, then you can just leave a Lohar, or a Boudica will work here as well if you don't have Lohar, which you should at this point. But if you don't, Boudica would work here as well. Any Peacemaker will really work well here, but Lohar is the best Peacemaker when it comes to getting your commanders leveled up, and yeah, this just works really well for him. So that's who I have there. I think that's pretty much best in slot. Again, if you're going to be rallying forts for barbarians, put one of your fort ralliers in there and you'll get that 5% damage bonus, which is pretty nice. Tax officer, gathering speed. Again, you can put any of your gatherers here, guys. Joan tends to be one of the better gatherers, just simply because her main skill gives a bonus to all the gathering types of resources. So it's very helpful to have an additional gathering speed because that just stacks on top of whatever you already have. You could also put Centurion here, Sarka here, Gaius here, Constance here would work just fine. This is just a basic 5% bump to gathering speed, so take your pick. Whoever you want to put there is just fine. Supply captain. Now, there's a couple ways to look into this. I probably am making this way more complicated than it needs to be on supply captain, but my thought process was this. I want this to be my plunderer. So you got gathering speed 5%, but you've also got troop load 5%. Cleopatra has both gathering speed increase to all resources, but she also has a 50% troop load increase on her 3rd skill, I think it is. When I'm plundering a city, so I've attacked a city, all the troops are gone, all that's left is resources, I want to make as less trips as possible. This will help it even more. So I'll be able to use use Cleopatra on top of, say, Sarka or Joan. Probably Sarka or Gaius, because they both have troop load increases as well. And I'll be able to get a massive amount of resources with a full army of siege units. So the idea is that I can plunder a lot at one time, and that'll save me time going back and forth every single time. So this is what I'm using my supply captain slot for. You can also use it for your alliance farm as well. So again, the more load you have, the more resources you can get from that node at one time. Generally, if you've got a pretty active alliance, you won't make it to that load count just because there's so many people farming it, but it's there. And if you don't have a super active alliance, this will help you get back 5, 6, 7 million resources at one time versus 3, 4, or 5. This will help. All right, so that's the gathering stuff. Let's go through the attack stuff. And again, I think those 3 are pretty much best in slot for the gathering ones. You can mix and match however you want, however you have your commanders leveled up and spec'd out. But this is the best in slot, I think, as far as the way gathering stuff goes and the XP goes. So let's talk about Drillmaster, troop attack. What type of commander should you have in Drillmaster? Well, this should be a nuking skill damage commander. So this can be any of your cav commanders, Minna, Double C, Genghis. This could be Pelagius. This could be Sun Tzu for the infantry ones. This can be Yulji. YSG is another prime example. Herman. Any of the nuking style commanders, the attack bonus affects skill damage bonuses. So you want to have your troop attack bonus go to a skill damage commander. So whatever, again, that you've got, your best skill damage commander, put them in this slot because that extra 1% will help. Okay, so I've got my YSG there because he does AoE skill damage and he's got a really high damage factor on that skill. So that's what I've got there. That's my best in slot as well. Again, you can have Minna. Genghis is a really good one here too. If you've got a maxed out Genghis Khan, do Drillmaster for Genghis Khan and you'll be in really good shape too. That double nuke having an extra 1% damage is nothing to sneeze at. Iron Guard, so troop health. Troop health lends very well to tankiness, and again, what type of troop is best for tanking but infantry? So if you've got a Richard Charles group, if you've got Sun Tzu Barca, or whatever you've got, right, whatever your primary infantry group is, Iron Guard, you want to put one of those commanders in it to get that extra 1% troop health. This will help you be more tanky, survive longer, and again, it's that little extra that somebody else might not have done yet or might not know about that you'll have the advantage on. Next one, let me just work my way from the right to the left at this point. Knighthead, again, same principle, troop defense and troop health. Again, you want to have one of your commanders that is in your infantry group in this. Now, another thought, right? You want to have one of your garrison commanders in Knighthead as well, because troop defense for an entire garrison for your city and health, that's a really good bonus to have. Luckily, my Charles is my primary garrison commander and he's in my infantry group, so I'm getting the benefit of both. I get it both times. So this is why I selected Charles for Knighthead instead of Richard, and vice versa. I would use whatever you've got for Knighthead to maximize that double bonus that you get from the defense and health. That's why I chose Charles, and again, I think this is probably best in slot. You can go Sun Tzu if you're doing an infantry group with Sun Tzu. You can go Yulji or Scipio or Julius here and be just fine. Anything that you're going to be using a tanky style of play with, Knighthead would work just fine. Okay, and the last one's Charge Captain. So this is for your rallies, and this is Rallied Army Attack plus 1% and Rallied Army March Speed plus 1%. Mehmed's my only designated rallier that I use on almost every rally if I'm not going troop specific. This is where this one can be a little tricky, and again, make sure you understand, you can change this on the fly. So if you're going to do an infantry only rally and you want to have Richard or Charles in there, you can move the Richard that you've got at the top right in Iron Guard and move him into Charge Captain and get that army attack and march speed, that's not a bad idea. If you're going full Cav, you can put your Minna, Double C, Genghis, whatever you've got working into Charge Captain, and again, still get that. Generically, Mehmed's my best rallier because of the skill damage extra and all the extra bonuses to rallying cities. So I put him there, and again, I think he's pretty much close to best in slot for that one as well, but you can really customize it to whatever rally you're sending and put one of those commanders in there and be just fine. Again, you can't have the same commander in 2 slots, okay? So you can't have Richard in Iron Guard and in Charge Captain. It needs to be one or the other. So be aware of that and be mindful of where you're placing your commanders. I think for the most part, though, going through all these with you, you should be able to, in your mind, look at your commanders and know their purpose, right? Know their purpose for what you're using them for, because I may be using Joan differently than you, or I may be using Mehmed differently than you. So understand what you're using your commanders for and plug them in here based off of that information. And this will give you a little bit of an extra edge. And that's the whole point. We want to give you those little edges that help you win battles and ultimately win the wars. So I hope this was helpful. Again, I think they're going to add more of these in the future. They're going to add more names and titles or whatever so that you can plug in more commanders to more titles. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I hope it's soon because this is really cool. I like the way that you can kind of cut. Again, I think the last couple weeks I've really been talking about diversifying the game. So it's not just Richard Charles versus Richard Charles and Minna Double C versus Minna Double C. It's different stuff. You've got different commander views here where you can give yourself little different specs. You got more commanders coming into the game, making it more difficult to be facing the same type of army against each other. And they're becoming more tactical, which is really cool. I hope this was helpful. This is Dragothian here again. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. More videos coming this week as well. Hopefully you have enjoyed this. I will see y'all later. Take care. Cheers. Have a good one.